And we're live.
Whoop, whoop.
Late today, better than 6 minutes late yesterday. Shout out to Genesis Elijah and Kingpin who was with us yesterday. If Jen wasn't here, we would have had no show because I wouldn't have realised how to press the go live button. But I got it now. Big Ben is late after he was dissing Abby for being late yesterday before we went live. Abby
I was late. That's the thing. I was there.
And we got man like Wordsmiff in the building. What's good, brother?
What's good, bro? All good, man. You good?
Good, man. Real good. Just, you know, it's crazy times. So we're just in our fucking yards. I got the Avengers backdrop today because we was talking about Marvel yesterday. I was with the Simpsons yesterday. But you know, this time is interesting in a sense. We all, you know, first couple shows I'm doing here with my close people, we all kind of live far from each other and don't see each other so much. But it's like this time we're kind of linking up and talking like,
because no one's got an excuse now.
Yeah, like more than usual. Do you know what I mean?
Air out my call, bro. Like, what are you gonna say? Like, oh, this meetings, all of that. Yeah, come on, man.
How are you coping with it all? How you dealing with the isolation, etc.?
Bro, do you know what? I think like pretty much the same as everyone else. Just going along with the flow. It's a mad one, bruv. Like the first couple of weeks, I was kind of ahead of the game, if I'm honest. Like yeah. I pulled my son out of school early before the school shut and that. Yeah. Because I was keeping up with what's going on around the world. And then I don't know, man. The first couple of weeks, it's hard to get your head round. I started going down the YouTube rabbit hole and just all of these theories and I think the abiding feeling that I've come out of it at the end of, bruv, is just we just gotta wait and see what is actually going on, what is actually happening. But it's a testamental strength as well, bro. Like, you know what I mean? For all the people out there with mental health issues. Time right now, bro. It's a tough time, like.
I'm of the belief to a degree that I thought everyone's got some kind of mental health like issue on some scale. It's a scale, you know what I'm saying? How do things affect your mental being? Like, so this time, people who probably ain't really realized that kind of suffering like that in any way, it might hit them. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like we were built for this, though. Like,
in there, innit?
I did lots of practice throughout my teens and 20s for this scenario. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm built. I'm ready.
Yeah. All right, man. Yesterday we kind of launched the show. We started kind of just broad and just talking about the situation and everything. But I kind of want to like get back to a little bit of the music stuff, like what we used to do with the Flip Live show as well, and talk about people's stuff. And I've always wanted to have you on that show, and it wasn't really possible.
I love that show as well, bruv. I love that show, man. Some controversial episodes have me like eating popcorn and that.
I would have loved it if you rocked up there in your pajamas like this, though, fam. Like.
This lockdown attire, bro. If I see anyone with full jewelry, earrings, all of this shit, like, where are you going, bro? Like, seriously, lockdown attire, innit?
To the live.
I'm just gonna hold like Big Ben to say, what the hell, man?
Yeah, where is that? Ben's taking liberties right now.
He popped out for something at the shops at like 2 o'clock, and it's taking him that long to get around Morrison's.
Now, shall I get him back over? He's probably on the toilet.
Yeah, probably.
At least blow up his mouth interviews like that, man. That's not public knowledge. Come on,
he
man.
Talks about it on the show all the time, bro.
Oh, okay.
He's always like, yeah, sorry, I was taking a shit. That's like his favorite line. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking hell, bro.
But, you know, at least he didn't just go live. Like,
no, that would have been better. That's comical still.
Yeah, you
like,
should.
I feel the sweat busting down his forehead and that.
All right, man. But look, I want to go back with you a little bit. Obviously, like I connected with your journey and we became very close at a certain time, right? So I know a lot of it to a degree. But maybe I just go back to where I first heard of you and come across you, I guess. And you could tell me what you know, what was kind of the significant thing before that, or whatever it may be. But I think. What year did your Roadman Showcase album come out? 2005?
Shit, man, you're testing me now. Yeah, it was early 2005. Yeah, I put out like a little EP before that, little vinyl EP. And that was the first release in 2004, I think.
Was that part of the?
Nah, but yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was on the album still.
Come on, bro, like, yeah, the memories.
Is that the one with Jest on it?
No, that was mad. That was a separate thing actually through Sit Tight Records, LG and them, man.
Cool. Yeah,
that came out about a year after Roadman, I think.
Oh. All right, rewind. Let's rewind. So Roadman Showcase. I guess that's the first time I heard you properly, but I'd been hearing your name. So I was 2005. I dropped my first album a year after that. So I had my deal with Kemet 2005, and I was working on my album, and so I was really paying attention to like, okay, who's the competition out here? Like, what's going on? And people are talking to me. My label's talking to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so Kemet have come to me at one point and been like, oh, like, are you watching what's going on? Like, who's, and your name came up from them, and Genesis Elijah came up from them, because On Road came out at the same time as well. So like your name was ringing, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like there was a point like your fans, you're a very like lyrical artist, for the lack of a better word or whatever. So
It was my backpack. Hold on.
Yeah. Nah, but not backpack. You know what I'm saying? Because we'll get into that as well. That's interesting. But I don't know, like, people that follow you, that like some of your fans from back then, if you ask them, I'm sure they'll say you're the best rapper there is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was people at that time, and like, I know we don't even want to focus on your beef situation and all of that that much in what we're talking about, but I even remember reading a magazine around that time with an interview with Chester P, where they've gone to him, who are you feeling at the moment? And it was that maybe Undercover magazine, and he was literally that not really many, like, just this guy Wordsmiff, and like he's the best thing, kind of. I can't remember the exact quote. It was something like that, and that was long before you guys had your conflict or whatever.
Handbag.
How, I don't know, like what was the scene like at that time, and what was you trying to achieve with that project and that music you were putting out at that time?
Bro, it's a mad one. Like, I think Jen will tell you best, man. Like, because obviously Caruana produced all of my first album, and how that came about, I was just living life, bro. I'd always rapped, like I'd always produced, like put music together through going to my brother's studio or whatever. But I didn't really have any kind of, delusions of grandeur. I didn't think I was going anywhere with it. I just like doing it. I like the sound of it. I like making it. And then when I linked up with Caruana, he had this whole studio set up, and he had the Boiler Room thing going on, which was like a collective of like 30, 40 MCs who were all doing stuff. You know what I mean? He'd done tunes with Jest. I didn't even know who all these people were, bro. I wasn't following the scene. So that was my first introduction to like proper UK hip hop, other than before like London Posse and that kind of thing. And we just made a body of tracks, bro. There wasn't any set idea to say this is what we want to do for the album. It just started coming together. I was just hanging around there all the time, making tunes, writing constantly. And then before we knew it, we had like 35 tracks, and we kind of like tried to put it into a body of work that fits together. Do you know what I mean? I come up with the concept of Roadman Showcase, the artwork, everything. And then without my knowledge, he sent it out to loads of labels.
Okay.
You know me, bro. My business acumen is like 0.5. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna send it out, see what people think. Next thing I know, I'm standing on Cold Harbour Lane in Brixton in the middle of a madness, actually. And yeah, I got this guy telling me, oh yeah, like, I got sent your demo tape. I'm interested in signing you, blah, 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 blah. I want to link up with you tomorrow. The offices are in Kenneton. I was like, okay, let's see what this guy's saying. And within like a couple of months, that was it. It was a wrap.
What was that label again?
I don't want to give no exposure. Sun Records, bro. They were, I think they were part of like Ninja Tune or something at the time.
I remember them being a notable company at the time.
They put out a good few things, bro. They put out a good few things. Yeah, I think they were working with Paris One.
Okay. So
Yeah, Pitman.
Oh yeah, that was the label, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't you?
No, I wasn't the novelty act for once.
You wasn't putting out 2 albums like, yo, like, let me do this.
It weren't an alter ego or none of that, bro. I put my ice pick down a long time ago, my ice pick. What am I talking about? But yeah, but from that, bro, all it was, I was kind of like, I was doing like open mic shows at Bug Bar in Brixton and just various little venues. And then I started building up a little hype. Then when we dropped the first EP, it was proper things. Like I was getting magazine interviews and all of that. And it happened just like that, but it was completely unthought of. There wasn't any kind of pre-context behind it. It was just making music and it came together. It landed. I think it landed at the right time as well. Because like you said, it was a different kind of. I'm very unprofessional. I'm disappointed in you, bro. You know what? My agent told me this professional setup.
I forget. You know, I did this yesterday. Like I locked off my calls. I forget if someone calls me, it comes to my laptop. But people don't call me nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like we message each other, like, yo, have some courtesy, like show some respect. Announce yourself first.
Whoever that was, you know they ain't tuned in, so they need to get a check anyway afterwards. Right?
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, yeah, I just remember thinking, yeah, that you was on a notable label at the time, so that's interesting.
Sorry about that.
What's that? Is Ben there?
No, I got a call. My bad.
Oh, she got a call as well, Words. I'm saying we're all taking calls.
You know what? I switched off my Wi-Fi, switched off my everything's done.
Ben responded in the group though. He said, "Yo, 1 minute," and that was about 10 minutes.
So I'm just saying, like, yo, that was a hard thing to do at that time, like to actually, like, you couldn't just put music out randomly on the internet, stuff like that. It was to do it yourself, you'd have to go and put a lot of money in and press it all up. So, you know, it was just I was kind of interested in how that happened with the label. So that's mad interesting. You did it the traditional route and actually gave them, or someone gave them some demo.
Like the old stories of yesteryear.
Yeah, man, that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah, and then from there, bruv, it was mad how quick it happened. Like I kind of remember like just being in a studio at one point with like Just, Scribbler, Parkinson, Ram, like all these people who I'd kind of seen in magazines of like the year before or whatever. And then yeah, I was just in that circle. Like it happened real quick. But I think on a personal level, as you know, I don't think I was ready for everything that happened. You know what I mean? I was still trying to.
Ben said, "Let him in." Sorry.
Sorry. I'm gonna block this bottom screen off, man. Now play. So yeah, that it was mad how quick it happened, bruv. And yeah, it was the traditional route that it happened with as well. So
did you feel like even like with a label, they was able to do enough for you?
Hold on. I can't answer a serious question when this dude's face.
Good. That sounded real deep as well. My bad.
You know what? Forget the Wordsmiff interview. It's the Ballo interview, man. It's the Big Ben interview. What are you saying, bro?
No, man.
He tried to steal your thunder. See?
You know what it was? Abby's supposed to be the late one, so 2-2s. I thought I'd just take the role.
Fashionably late, looking like Brick Ross.
Late, you know?
I had a nap, rude boy, and it just went over still.
You fall asleep on the toilet again. Well, I'll tell you about that.
All the toilet paper hoarding you been doing, bro.
Yeah, anyway, come on, the adults are talking. What was you saying, though?
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you feel like even on a label, a label was able to do what you needed at that time, or the industry was really ready for you to have the career you would hope for? Or were you even hoping for a career?
I weren't even hoping for a career, no. That's the truth of it, brother. I just went with the wave. And like, I think that if I had the knowledge and the business sense that I have this far down the line, then things would have worked out a lot differently, man. But without getting into any kind of legal wranglings and stuff, you know, like the first album was an amazing thing, the deal and all that, it got me out there, but it turned a little bit sour. So it was a mad learning curve, bruv. Mad learning curve.
I obviously I don't want to talk about anything you don't want to, but
No, fuck
I'm not gonna go too far. But
I've had 3 cups of coffee, bruv. I'm on a high. Let's go.
obviously, when you say it went sour, yeah, did it mess with your career, like any of your rights to music or anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because do you know what? I'm not even gonna go down the route of like bad mouthing anyone or anything, because I was a nightmare to work with back then, bro.
Yeah.
Nightmare. Like I was still living the same life that I was before I got that deal. Do you know what I mean? So trying to do that side of life and also hold down a career and promote yourself and do the positive things that you're meant to be doing, you ain't doing it. And then there was trust issues between me and the guy over money and what was happening and all that stuff. So like looking back on it now, I can see that I was a nightmare, but the way the situation went down was kind of dirty because I basically signed over everything. Do you know what I mean? So to the point where it was a bit iffy for a few years whether I could even perform certain tunes live. Yeah, any royalties these days, I ain't really seen none of that, man. Yeah, I got a little payment and that was about it. And I don't even know the exact figures of what was sold. Like people have told me estimates and all of this kind of stuff, but I saw it. Whereas now that would be an unheard of thing, to, you know what I mean? To actually be putting music out there, not knowing what you're selling, where it's going, who's getting what.
So
Do you think people still get deals like that?
What's that, Ben?
Do you think people still get deals like that? Do you think that still goes on?
Bro, I don't know. I ain't been offered one. But no, I think everything's shifted, man. Come on, like in 15 years, that's a long time. 5 years is a long time in music, bro. Do you know what I mean? A year's a long time in music. As soon as the digital side of things took off, it skyrocketed in a different direction. And I think there's positives and negatives to that.
If you got that same contract today, how would you not get bumped by it?
Weaponry. No, I'm joking.
Out of it.
Man got the straps now.
I think I take it more seriously from a point of view as like, look, when I got handed a bunch of documents, I just went, what, you want to put my music out? You're going to get me on stage. You're going to make people hear my shit. I'm going to be in magazines. Bow, 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 bow. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I was to look back on it now, I'd know the ins and outs of, you know, publishing rights and recording rights, all of that stuff. So yeah, man, I think in a sense, like I said, I didn't want to badmouth anyone, but I think the one thing I could say is people maybe took advantage of my naivety at the time. Do you know what I mean? And if that benefited them, farewell. I hope a pigeon shits on your Bentley. You know what I mean? Right.
You know what's mad though? Bare good rappers that happened to. That's what I was thinking for bare generation. So it's like, you know, you just put in a good lineage anyway.
Yeah, but the thing is, bruv, like I said, it was never going to be a career for me. Now, I think meeting Nova was an eye opener for me as well, because you were just talking about your deal with Kemet, and I was around you at the time when you was putting that project together, and I saw just how like on top of everything you were. Do you know what I mean? You wanted to know down to everything, bruv, who signed this paper and just like everything. Not even from just an artistic point of view, just like knowing what's going on with control of your music and the business side of it. Do you know what I mean? And that taught me a thing or two, if I'm honest. And I think I've just learned that from more and more people in the industry over the years, bro. Like,
yeah, man, I tried to be like that, you know what I mean? But that reminded me, because I forgot I was gonna go more into that story before I opened with the question, but I'd heard your name ringing out, and then I think I'd just been signed. So
you're thinking, who's this guy?
You know what? I don't care, innit, man? Like, whatever. Like, Kemet's already said to me, right, have you heard this guy? Have you heard that guy? Yeah. Another one they mentioned was Loki, because they said Loki was coming at them asking for a deal or whatever, and it was like, we're good for now. Maybe they fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But when I had that madness with me and Snell had the madness, that whole Professor Green thing, and I before we moved to Brighton, I bounced up to Snell's Ends. Like, I must have been in Snell's Ends and he took me to like a little record shop where they got their little.
They got record shops there.
Yeah.
It looks like the Flintstones words.
They had like a rare kind equivalent, like little, you know, like a hip hop shop where they had all UK hip hop stuff, and I just went in there and your CD was up on the wall. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in there like boom, like, you know, what's going on, what's out, and I was like, yo, throw that on, because I'd heard the name. So I sat and listened to it in the shop at that time, and then I think I moved to Brighton probably like a week or two after that, and then. I can't remember what event it was. Remember they used to do that thing? That's the day we met each other. It was day.
Yeah, I remember that clear, bro.
I won't tell the whole story. I won't tell the whole story. But yeah, I think Jamie was like, yo, have you met Wordsmiff? He's around, like Wordsmith's over there. And I was like, oh, okay. Cool.
I'm going to blow you up, bro. I even remember you was wearing a multicolored string vest that day.
Me?
Yeah, bro. Oh, no. Actually, I might have that twisted. It might be Snell, you know.
I don't remember ever wearing a multicolored.
I rock string vests a lot, though.
Yeah,
I did rock string vests at some point in my life, but I don't remember wearing a multicolored string vest still. No.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look, bro. I remember that was my first impression. I was like, first of all, these guys are screwing me out. I'm like, what's this guy's problem? And then secondly, I just thought like the coordination's good with the string vest, but no. Like, yeah. I think it was Snell. Yeah, it was Snell.
It might have been Snell, man, because we went straight into a club. I must have like, that's
what I'm saying. I saw you lot in the daytime and someone pointed you out to me because I had the festival thing on the beach. And someone pointed you guys out. I was like, oh, okay, that's so-and-so. And then later on, when we was going into the club, that's when we got introduced.
I don't even remember if Snell was with me then, because Snell, he might have bounced or whatever, yeah, but I just remember being on my own. Like, I'm at this thing on my own, Snell's not there. I'm like, right, Black Twine was performing, and it was quite a good day. And then there was an after party, and then me and you just linked up and was like, right, what after party thing? And we've gone to the party, and we just clicked since then. Just rolling ever since.
Yeah, I think we both realised that we were both at loose ends in our life and ready to cause some havoc in it.
while we were supposedly moving down to the seaside for some peace and quiet.
Willie's on the beach.
Hold on. I swear, didn't Boris say every 20 minutes, bro? Hold on one sec.
Oh, shit.
Right.
And if Boris gives you health advice, you know it's best to follow it because he never fucks up.
Fast forward though, you done another album which I Pursuit of Harmony, right?
Yep.
To me, is a fucking masterpiece. I love that album. I think it's well mixed, mastered. Everything about it is great. That's not on the internet. That's all you.
Are you seeing a pattern yet, bro?
Yeah, I'm actually realizing this as I'm talking to you. How fucked, like, because people like. I don't want to. We already said we don't want to focus on your kind of beef situation, yeah. But I think a lot of people looked at that beef as like, oh, words went missing after that. Where it's like, hell, that's like nothing, because I don't think that's a highlight in your career or his career. You know what I'm saying? No. So, and me and Jen was talking about on Jen's show the other day that I feel like when I saw him when my album came out, I feel like that year the whole scene died. Like Kung Fu.
You saying you killed it off?
No, man didn't kill it off. Like it's like man had a little moment.
I know what you mean. There was a little love. Yeah.
As the thing was dying, so it wasn't able to grow in the following years, and we didn't work out how to adapt to the new media in that time. Because that Kung Fu shut down, HFM shut down, all of these kind of like UK hip hop things shut down, and then these mainstream things kind of came in and replaced them, which started building that. I got some, that was good in the beginning, One Extra and that kind of stuff. But I feel like a lot of us, that the scene just kind of.
Yeah, we just kind of missed that new era, innit? Like we were just like on that crossover bit. But like when you mentioned about Pursuit of Harmony, bro, like what we were talking about earlier, with Roadman, that was just more like all tracks I've created. Pursuit of Harmony, I actually went out with an idea of what I wanted to do. So for me, that's the best body of work I've ever put out. I'm proud of that project still. There's still a couple of things like with every artist I listen to and I'm like, I wish I'd done that different, whatever. But yeah, that's kind of a representation of what I wanted to do as an album. Whereas I see Roadman as more of like just more of like a mixtape, if you know what I mean. Like before they the kind of thing. But yeah,
that's the only project you put out where you've really done what you
had
did.
control over it. But then again, see, you say it's not on the internet and that, and like, as a grown man, like I'm saying, I don't like putting people on smash. I think the guy who, you know, who I was working with on the album, he had all the best intentions. I think it was just, the idea was a bit grander than the execution. Do you know what I mean?
Is Roadman Showcase on the internet?
It is, but I've been told, this is the mad thing, bro. I was talking to Jen the other day. I ain't even got a copy of my first album, bro. I got it on my laptop.
I've got your copy.
Oh,
yeah, I've got your copy somewhere. I've got it, and I had the copy of Pursuit of Harmony as well.
No.
I can't find the Pursuit of Harmony copy, but
you know when you're looking after something for someone, you are supposed to tell them that, right? Otherwise, it's generally known as thieving, like.
Bro, I thought you knew that. Like,
that's how you borrow in Finsbury Park, though.
Bro, remember,
they have to ask to borrow it back.
Oh, bro, remember I shot that video for you, and you're holding the CDs.
Yeah. Oh,
that day.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
told you about it until now, though. You notice that.
I'm gonna get that to you, but my point is, I wanted to touch on the fucking dickhead American Wordsmiff who like has fucking had your music removed from the internet, because that's more the reason I'm thinking it's not there.
Yeah, no, that's what really killed it, if I'm honest, bro. Like, I think for a while, the guy who had my first album, I think he wasn't aware of what he could do. So for the first couple of years, like when the digital thing proper hit, he didn't even think about it. He was like, oh, maybe I should put that digital, because at some point it was available, and I know it was through them. And then for those who don't know, this American dude called Wordsmiff, he basically, he went after my name full throttle. He basically spent thousands on lawyers, got cease and desist orders, so all of my videos got removed off YouTube, off everything. And I think, so yeah, all of my previous music wasn't allowed to come out under Wordsmiff TH. Even then, when we started to try and think of a way around it and do the double F or whatever, by that time, a couple of other people had come out with that name. So yeah, it was just a minefield, bro. So
I'm looking for Roadman Showcase on Spotify right now, and I can't see it.
No. And I know when I was due to do something with a label a few years back, they basically dug out all of my old music and they put it up under something slightly different, just to see what happened, and it got removed about a week later. So yeah, the annoying thing is, bro.
I was just about to say, why not just put it back up?
This is what I'm saying. It's mad. It's mad, bro. I can't even believe this guy. I said I'm not going to badmouth no one. Fuck that. I'm going back on that. I'm badmouthing this American Wordsmith dude. Right? I think his name is Anthony Parker or something. I think his name is.
Yeah, I remember him, but I never heard one song from him, dude.
I told this to Jen when we did our interview, bro. His whole attitude was like, look, because I tried to be humble. I was like, look, dude, I don't know if you know, I've had this name for years, blah, blah, blah. And he basically approached me and said, no, that's my name now. Like, I'm American. Hip hop's American. You don't have a right to anything. I'm taking the name. If you carry on using it, my lawyers will take all your shit down. That's how he went about it, bro. And then the thing is, man, like if he'd have turned out to be an amazing artist and all of that, I could have accepted that. Do you know what I mean? But the guy was doo-doo, bro. Like seriously.
I always felt sorry for you and Logic, like over here, because you got bare trash rappers trying to take your name. And
Logic is Logic. The American Logic's good, but it's difficult for him.
I ain't feeling him still. I ain't feeling him like that.
He didn't try and block, man, and he's massive. He's a fucking superstar.
And that's what I'm saying. It was an ego thing, bro. It was an ego.
Yeah.
This guy was just like, I want that name. Nah, who are you telling me? Because, come on now, if you're a rapper coming out, you're going to research names, innit? And the worst thing is, this guy tried to get a distribution deal with Dented. Like, with people I've got people phoning me up saying, is there another guy with your name or something? It was mad the way he went about it, bro. But it was successful because I weren't in a position where I was still properly in touch with my labels and all of that I could have fought it in the right way. Do you know what I mean?
He's blown up though, because now he can't come here and do shows. And them kind of underground rappers.
No, don't put it out there. He can come here and do shows.
Oh yeah.
Please. I might even put on a night, you know.
Yeah, let's book him.
And do it E40.
Underground Connect.
Pow. Yeah. I'm on that.
That's all the madness, man. So I think you should work. I think those things have to somehow, you know, if you're gonna put out music, you have to somehow put those projects out online under whatever name you do.
Yeah, I'm as you know at the moment, man. I'm trying to get where I need to be. Like I'm getting a handle on controlling my social media and yeah, really trying to promote myself in the right way. And a lot of that, but it's funny, bro. You know, I've put out a few freestyles in the last few days, and
Yeah.
for the first time in years, like as an artist, I've had loads of people adding me saying like, I like your music. It's almost like it's giving it a fresh breath of air because these people don't know my previous music. So yeah, I've got that core bunch of old folks like myself who who want to reminisce on my music, but I think it's just as important, bro, like to kind of leave that in the past as well. Try and build something new. Do you know what I mean? The people who know that off the back of that, cool. Follow me on the journey still. If you didn't know before, then listen to me as a new artist, and hopefully it's something to give. You know
Oh, I hear you, but now, man, you got two solid, like, loved bodies of work that shit has to be on Spotify, man. Somehow, I'm gonna...
Yeah, but then there's another thing that comes. If it gets put out, who gets the money? Where does it go? Do you know what I mean? So, am I doing it from a point of view?
I think you just set up a fucking label, yeah, like with a distribution company, just a digital distribution company, and just upload it like it's yours because it is yours. You know what I'm saying, like, that's what I would do.
We're in quarantine. What are they gonna do, bro?
Yeah.
I ain't opening the door.
The only thing is, if you change your name, then you know you might have to actually make new artwork.
Yeah.
Get someone to make some new artwork.
But you know what? I'll be honest with you, bro. Like, listen, Wordsmiff, I'm almost sick of it, really, bro. Just all the dramas with legal business and all that. Don't get me wrong, that is me. I've been that artist since I was like 13 years old when I come up with a name. You know what I mean? That's always going to be me. But I'm kind of excited about doing a new project, bro. Like I'm writing a little concept album at the moment, which is far removed from anything I've done before. So yeah, I think you're right. I need to give people, do you know what I mean, the foundations of what I've done, but I'm also trying to move away from it a little bit at the same time as well.
I like how you're drawing it straight back to the raw, just with like, let me just spit something on the camera. That's what inspired me to do one today. Because I've got a good camera and all of that. I could have set up my thing and put my mic on.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I've got a sick setup as well, bro. The only reason I did that was for artistic purposes to make it look good. Well, I'm glad you noticed that, bro. You picked up on that. Nice. Yeah.
No, I did mine the same as you because I thought, you know what? Let me just talk to the people, innit? Like, it don't have to be like, oh, fancy and that. Like Jen had his fancy camera on yesterday.
That shit ain't even plugged in.
So tell us about the new music. So what's your plans this year? What are you gonna drop in Corona?
Yeah. I'll be honest, bro. I was toying with the idea a bit. I'd been writing. I never stopped writing. That's the thing, bro. Like anyone who knows me knows I've always written, even though I haven't been putting music out. But I had this little idea a few months back to do this project. I started reaching out to a few people before all this quarantine thing happened, and obviously doing the freestyles, seeing the responses I've been getting, the love back, is kind of pushing me in the right direction, man. And it's made me pull my finger out for the first time and really be like, okay, let me try and suss this out. Instead of just writing bars, putting them down on a beat and letting people hear them and see them, how am I going to actually try and push this forward? How am I going to actually learn how to market myself in a sense, bro? So I think that this is giving me the right push to actually have an output, bro. Whereas I'm not looking at it like I want to have a career doing this, that, and the other. If I can put out music, if I can do a few live shows and people feed it, that's why I got into this shit in the first place, bro. So yeah, whatever happens from there happens, innit? I will be putting out music though, that's guaranteed.
Oh.
Maybe the three of you should like do an Insta live kind of concert for old time's sake and just
people was asking for bars yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought about it. Imagine we done a mad cypher, like it might actually be hard, but I ain't got the bars. Words don't run out of bars. You know what I'm saying.
No, I don't run out of bars, but the thing is, I don't know if you have this, guys, as rappers, yeah. I must have written, I'm not even kidding, like hundreds of thousands of verses in my life. If you put me on the spot now and tell me to spit something, I've got 3 verses. I got 3 verses. Always come back to.
Yeah, I got any of them.
By the time I get the second verse, I'm struggling. Like, raw, this beat better run out soon. Like, I got 1 more left.
It's not that when man was young, like any of them cypher things I've done, I have to have planned it. I've got my thing, like I've written down the first line of 10 verses. I know I've only got to do 3, but I'm gonna have 10 ready. You never know.
You not got 3, that's a lot.
Rehearsal studio for weeks before and shit.
I want to talk about some of the news and the music stuff that's going on. But before that, I got a little surprise. Yeah, I'm gonna bring someone in. I'm gonna bring in someone who's gonna join the discussion and maybe ask some questions on that.
Man, like the myth. The man, the myth, the energy you're in, but
You better see him.
Jack-a-lay.
Hey man, pleasure finally meeting you, man.
Yo, where's the video, man? We need to see you.
Oh what? Turn my camera on, yeah, okay.
On the camera on. Jack Myth.
Baby.
Pleasure, man. What's up, Abby?
Jack,
How are you?
good, bro.
Yeah, good. Nice finally talking to you.
Jack Myth
Yeah,
is like he's a big UK hip hop fan and a rapper and an artist as well. And I know he's I've interacted with him online for a long time. He asks great questions. Whenever I see him, he interviews me in the street and it's just epic. And I know he's a big fan. So I'm like, yo.
Got me worried.
hey Jack, you're looking like Mahershala Ali with that Biggie poster behind you still. Go hard.
I've also got the Martian Manhunter.
I know.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Jack? How you coping with the isolation?
Really well, actually. Honestly, my life isn't that different at all.
Wow.
Great.
No, I like it. Straight to the point.
So what, you got any questions for Wordsmiff? This is the quietest I've ever seen Jack Mythos be.
Oh wow, that's surprising. Okay, so oh wait, your album is online. You just have to search it a specific way, but if you look, you can find.
He's the guy who would know.
And I actually prefer Romance Showcase to Pursuit of Harmony. They're both really good. I just prefer Romance Showcase.
Bro,
Okay.
you're entitled to your opinion, man. That's all good.
I proper disagree with you, fam, you know.
I knew he preferred that because he's a purist, isn't it? You know the man that are like, nah, but the first one.
Bro, Pursuit of Harmony is a classic, Reba. You man, I'm mad.
They're both great. So they're both great. So
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not a purist. If anything, I get in as much shit from purists on these Facebook rows as I do from like the real enthusiasts or whatever.
Yeah, you know, I hear you. But sorry, I interrupted you. So tell the people, since you're the only person who would know this like 100%, how do people find Wordsmith's albums then?
Hold on, let me get my pad and pen.
Okay, True Unity Records, Bandcamp, and go on their Bandcamp.
Yeah.
It can't be found on Google searches, but it can be found on their Bandcamp, and so can the More the Words Can Say EP, which I have on vinyl, by the way.
Oh, that's mad, bro. I actually forgot that. Dots from Philly and Dots, when he was setting up a record label, he wanted to do a project with me. And he went down some rabbit holes. I managed to find the material, like how, right. Big up, salute, sir.
I don't want to talk about this.
How did the other Wordsmith even get a copyright on this? Like, it's not even like he invented the word Wordsmith.
I didn't even really understand the way it works. Basically, he, I think what it was, when I first got like put out Roadman and stuff, we copyrighted the European and UK rights to the name. As this is as far as my understanding goes, because other people were handling my business affairs. And then he came with the American copyright. Now, I was under the impression, since I had the name and I'd released it, no one else could release anything at all under that. I was a bit ignorant to how it works, to be honest. And then he got in touch, by the time Pursuit of Harmony came out and he was starting to put music out, he got in touch with the label, the guy who was running the label directly. And it was literally pages upon pages of legal documents. The guy who was running the label actually got lawyers to look over it and they said, yeah, it's foolproof. And this guy, their words were, this guy spent a lot of money and time going into this effort. And so, yeah, we got YouTube cease and desist order.
So what name are you going to use from now on?
I'm toying with a few ideas at the moment, man. Obviously, like Wordsmiff FLIP is, incorporating the gang that I like.
Gang,
And
gang.
I've got my own little meanings for it as well. But yeah, people have probably noticed, man. I've been putting out the name Old Boy Smith a little bit. Now, a couple of my boys were like, bro, why are you calling yourself old in the title? And like, I said, because I'm old. Like,
We're gonna make a movie.
but I'm happy with it as well. I'm in a good place. So also from a personal standpoint, I don't know if anyone's seen the film Old Boy.
Yes.
Old Boy.
Both versions.
That's one of my
Versions.
favorite films ever.
Yeah.
Both
That
versions.
film is hard.
Yeah. So the two things put together kind of worked for me. I like that title. So I think I'm doing like I said, a concept album. I'm writing that at the moment, and it is Old Boy Smith. It's about Old Boy Smith. So whether that sticks, I continue down that path. I don't know.
Have you seen
Snowpiercer?
Logan.
Hold on, 2 questions. Where am I going?
Have you seen
Answer
Snowpiercer?
Jack's question. Answer Jack's
said
question.
no,
Yeah, always answer Jack's question, man.
Snowpiercer. It's another movie from the same guy who directed Old Boy.
No. Send me the link,
like-
bro.
Yeah, it's like an
I'll
apocalypse
send
film.
you
It's
the
really
link.
good.
I'll send you the link. Don't watch that. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, no, I need some help with my cinematic. I need to broaden my cinematic horizons.
Old Boy is a trilogy, fam. You know that.
Say that again.
Old Boy is the 3rd film in a trilogy.
Yeah.
I'm making myself look dumb now. Are we still live?
No,
Yeah.
you're not Korean, fam. It's one of them.
Speaking of names, here's a ridiculous story. So there was on the internet, there was this juggalo horrorcore rapper, you know, with like the face paint and shit, called The Joker. He made like a song dissing a trap rapper who was also called The Joker. And basically the main character of his diss was that he owned a trademark for The Joker, but he only owned the trademark for his spelling of it.
Okay.
I mean,
Who won?
What a joker.
The trap guy never even responded, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he was bothered.
Well, there's a lot of beef. There's a lot of beef to talk about today, so that might segue us. But there's a couple comments. Samuel Jasons was busting up about the multicolored string vest. I only just noticed that. That's
how you know it's truth, when it's confirmed by Sam, bro.
He didn't confirm it. He's just laughing. He might be laughing at Snell. I think it was Snell. I can't lie.
Stop trying to throw Snell under the bus. Like Nova ain't never rock a string vest before.
I'm proud of that, man. I had a collection. What?
That's why he became your friend, because you was rocking a string vest. There's you denying it.
Certified.
And we got a comment from Funk Logic, who said, "Wordsmith legend."
Yeah, I'd like to elaborate on that.
So why is your rap name Wordsmith?
All right, you flopped there still, Jack. Your questions are usually great.
I never even heard it.
He said, why was his name Wordsmith?
Oh, Lord.
What, my name?
Yeah.
Or the American guy? Well, right. I'm not even going to tell you the name that I used to go by when I first started rapping, because that's nah. The
You
camp.
have to now.
Yeah.
You can't even put it up. What was it?
Nah. I ain't going down that route. I got named
My
by.
first rap name was Biological with a K. It can't really be worse than that.
Yeah, it's worse, bro. It's worse. Yeah, it's worse. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, because I blew myself up. Wordsmith, basically, I was looking. I can't even remember who it was now. One of the elders said to me, "Oh, you're like a poet. You're like a wordsmith." And I didn't even know what that word was. Right, so I kind of put 2 and 2 together, like blacksmith, ironsmith, and all that. So okay, that must be wordsmith. Researched it a bit, kind of fit. Do you know what I mean? Because like Nova said, even though I've always tried to make music that kind of represents me where I come from, it's always been from a lyrical point of view. So yeah, it fit. Simples.
So,
One said AKA, there's a name in the comment. I don't know, like people can see it in the comments. Maybe that's your original name, I don't know.
What?
Yes, like this, someone's written it.
well, it means also known as, like, but they ain't revealing that. Was it young?
No, it was nothing like that. Keep the guesses coming though. If you get it right, I don't know what prize I'll send out. I've got a few face masks.
Let me know the prize, and then I'm gonna try a thing.
All right, cool.
You should just send them the no prize like Stan Lee used to. Because in the 60s, when you wrote into Marvel Comics and pointed out there was a error in the story, they'd send you a no prize. There was just a blank envelope signed by Stan Lee.
Okay.
All right.
How do you get
money now? I'm gonna find one on eBay.
Listen, we we've got some stuff to talk about that's been going on today. We usually do that in the first half of the show when we was on Pyro and that, but
So it's deep. No one's allowed to go outside. No one can touch each other. It's mad. Just happened today. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, in Kent, in Kent, lockdown isn't as much. Are you actually over in London? Are you not allowed to leave the house?
no, we're allowed to leave the house like to go shop or whatever, and to get food, to get essentials, and to go exercise once a day. They say, I think.
Is it being monitored in London? Because around here, no one's really enforcing it.
I don't know, but my neighbor told me that police came to my door at 10 in the morning, like 3-4 days in a row. Obviously, it must have been the exact time I was going to do my exercise or whatever. But it was they haven't come since. So I don't know. I'm trying to work out why. I'm a bit concerned, to be honest. I'm thinking maybe one day they're gonna knock while we're doing this.
It's Davis from number 32. G'd you up, bro. That's why.
Where did you get that Avengers green screen from?
Bruv, we got that on my road, like there's bare curtain switches, bruv. Like you can see it in people's eyes, like I'm sure they went out shopping yesterday.
Like, I got a lot of old people that live in my building, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, they might, you know.
It's like I said earlier though, bruv, like the whole situation, whether you question what's going on behind the scenes or the legitimacy of what's happening, who's really gonna take that risk? This is what I'm saying. We've all got families. We've all got people we care for. From once you put that out there, that is what it is, isn't it, man? Until I know different, until someone puts facts in front of me that I can go and slap man on the back and not feel away about it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no,
I mean, everyone needs to get the vaccination when it happens. Like, I'm generally against mandatory anything, but everyone needs to get the vaccine because otherwise people are going to die.
You don't have to. Don't have to.
yeah, but is it? That's what I don't get, bruv. Because you've got so many. This is what does my nutting. That's partly why I put those bars out, bruv. Because what I was saying in it, no one knows. You got one scientist saying this. You got one scientist saying that. You got one person saying don't go out, you don't need to wear masks. You got another man saying you need to wear a mask. The message is so unclear.
You got one random dude in glasses with a text that walks around above his head saying scientist. But I don't know who he is or his job. Do you know what I'm saying? And he's just saying some stuff.
But everyone's an authority now as well, isn't it? Like, yeah, my cousin's neighbor works for the NHS and she told us this. And then on top of that, you got these crazy people. I don't know what the motives behind, but putting out all these hoax messages and emails and all of that, supposedly said, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just fear mongering, bro. It's scaremongering. But then
he's talking about the 5G stuff now.
No, we're gonna
Loads of stuff.
That's a whole other show.
About the 5G stuff is nonsense because coronavirus is still developing at the same rate in places without 5G.
Yeah.
Yeah, but does that mean
And
that
also,
my computer game won't lag if I get 5G?
that's a good shout.
I'm just trying to weigh up the balance. No, I'm joking. It's not.
No, I don't really mind. If I could look at the quality of my camera right now, if I could get that up with a little 5G.
No, that's the phone, my boy.
Look at my background compared to all of you lots, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, my background's pretty great.
Yeah, it's because you're the
Yeah, your background is pretty great, but it's not superimposed.
I mean, I have a one-of-a-kind painting of the Martian Manhunter.
I'm all about subliminal marketing, Nova, and like you sitting in the center of the screen with the only one with the backdrop, bruv. Yeah, you're sending a strong message.
I think that's cool.
I'm gonna do a whole. We're gonna do a whole show about the 5G and conspiracies next time, and both of you guys can come back and talk on that. I want that one just to go mad. I want to invite people who have really researched that or think they have, and they come.
Okay. Wait, actually, I have a question. Actually, that's more important. This is what Words was saying about before. Do you think the main reason UK underground, and I'm using underground as a sonic adjective here, I know you can argue that's not an accurate labeling. Do you think the reason it's less financially successful than American underground hip hop, at least until recently, is lack of business? Because I mean, if you look at like the American underground rap labels from around the same time, like I don't know, like a group like Jedi Mind Tricks or Atmosphere or like ASAP or a group like that, they were selling out bigger venues and getting a lot more money and were a lot more, I guess, successful than the UK equivalents were.
Yeah. What's the question?
Do you think the reason UK hip hop like underground hip hop isn't as financially viable as American artists doing a similar kind of thing at the same time. Like take your Jedi Mind Tricks, your Doom, your Aesop.
Yeah.
Do you think the main reason it's UK artists in that field are less successful, at least until fairly recently, is because of bad business and bad marketing?
No, I think it's more to do with geographical locations, the origins of the music. You know, it's taken years and years for it to be cemented as everyday part of our culture, whereas I think it's been over there for a lot longer. The difference.
It's the same with the mainstream, isn't it? Over here, the mainstream is, we're only getting to a point of having mainstream success in the same kind of level. The industry just wasn't ready. The fans weren't there.
Yeah. So I think as well, man, you got to think, bruv, like if you do well in one state in America, you're doing well in life. Do you know what I mean, bruv? Like, so
yeah.
I guess it's weird because in America, more so than here, because of the way America's structured, where different parts of America might as well be a different country.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
like, there's like different scenes, or like obviously, I guess, all the Atlanta rap, that's like the mainstream now, but that used to be an underground phenomenon. Or I guess, I don't know, look at like in like Minneapolis, Minnesota, where like Atmosphere, Brother Ali, Idea, those kind of artists are from. They have this specific sound of rap that's almost like kind of rock influenced, and they removed from like sort of, and they focused on like the abstract lyrics. Or like in Detroit in the 90s, when obviously Eminem was coming up, everyone was like doing the gimmicks and the horror stuff, like Esham, ICP,
You know,
Rock, House of Crazy.
You need your own show, bro.
You know what? I was gonna say.
I've been telling Jack Mipples that I want to give him a show on the, like, he needs a show. Like, bro, he's
Yeah. I've actually been writing some like video essays lately. I'm working on that now. That's what I'm doing while I try and hustle up my project.
brilliant.
I mean, yeah, actually, because I mean, actually talking about America, even though it seems like in other genres, listening to music from around the world is more normal, whereas a lot of Americans don't even seem to realize there is rap outside of America.
UK hip hop kind of died out, and the underground scene kind of died also because of, and the way what we've got now also happened because of the internet. Like the internet, there was a break, and the music industry was, you know, because over here, when you lot are saying there wasn't the fan base, there was the fan base, but before the internet, the game was mad divided, and there was a small infrastructure in the underground scene over here, but that died out at a certain point before the internet started popping. But now the internet's popping, there's a bunch of like, I say there's a bunch of people who are blowing up in the same lineage, but are just using a new internet infrastructure to blow their thing. Like
You're definitely like with what High Focus and Blah Records are doing, especially when they're breaking over into an audience who weren't really familiar with it before.
That's what I'm saying.
Like when I just talk to some people my age and stuff who are into like UK hip hop, like they know High Focus and Blah, but then when it comes to the older artists or even the lesser underground people, they're just like completely ignorant.
Mad, man.
As they should be.
Times, though. Good
Can we
times.
talk about war now, though? Can we talk about war now? Can we?
Yeah, I keep trying to get to that. Anyway,
Yeah, I was being sarcastic, and you lot ran with it. Like I was just.
Did you say war?
It comes off natural. And Logic has said Zion, one of my favorite.
So Wordsmiff,
Yo.
what UK rappers do you rate right now?
That's a good question. There's a lot, if I'll be honest, man. J Hus. And you know what? A lot of people be surprised, you know, because I think the core of, like, if you can even say about like a fan base or whatever, obviously my kind of music has been identified as a certain thing, but Nova and Ben know this more than most, but like I've got mad eclectic taste. I like a lot of stuff that things wouldn't like people wouldn't expect me to like. Chip, I think, is an incredible artist, bruv. Like lyrically and just the genres of music he goes across, like the way he promotes himself. I think he's a genius.
This is weird because he went pop and then he managed to go back.
Sorry, what's that?
He went pop and then he managed to go back.
The last couple of years and his more recent projects. Like, I didn't rate him so much back in the day, but yeah, like his new shit, his last couple of projects.
Yeah, man. In terms of,
I don't know his stuff that well, honestly.
In terms of what you'd say, like the more traditional, like UK hip hop or whatever you want to call it, obviously Ocean Wisdom was someone who grasped my attention for a minute. I'd kind of like, Nova knows, we kind of like knew them kids growing up. We not really knew them, but we knew of them when we was down in Brighton for a bit.
Yeah.
To see like Rizzle Kicks, flipping Ocean Wisdom, all them man doing what they're doing. Yeah, it was good. But to be honest, and I'm just putting my hands up straight, I'm not the most finger on my pulse kind of guy. Do you know what I mean? I hear something, I like it, I run with it for a few months and I move on to something else. That's generally what I've been like. So
yeah, I have like a few artists I go back to, but then those are all quite different rappers. I mean, but then I think the best art rappers or the best creative people in general have like diverse taste and good knowledge. And see, this is the reason I get annoyed about people not having, about artists, MCs not having good hip hop or grime knowledge. It's more because you're handicapping yourself, you're missing great music, and you know, the best musicians, I think, have a good understanding of the genre and the lineage.
yeah,
like, the best filmmakers and authors have an understanding of it. Or in other genres of music.
That goes both ways as well, though, because if I'm honest, yeah, you're right. I do like to have an understanding of music and what's going on and stuff. But at the same time, I don't like to embroil myself too much in it if I'm making music myself at the time, because I think there's the danger of you try and follow the trends and you try and get caught up in what everyone else is trying to do and trying to replicate it. Now, the best music that I've ever made, I've had an idea of what I wanted to do. I've gone in and it hasn't sounded like anyone else. It's been unique and individual. And then if people jump on that bandwagon, then you've got something you can run with. So I'm of two minds. I think it's good to keep up with everything, but at the same time, I don't like to listen to too many artists too much, because even subconsciously it rubs off on you, on your music, the direction you take it.
Because actually a friend of mine in America, Armando, he makes like, he does like a bunch of different types of music under different names. And for like 3 months, he didn't listen to any music, watch any films, read any fiction books, play any sports or games. And just for 3 months, he just removed all media from his life just to see how his music would sound afterwards.
You've let Jack Nichols take over the whole show.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. It's over. When's your next album coming out?
No,
Hey, before he answers that,
do you know what, Jack? I want you to interview me. Like, separate to this, I would love just to go on Zoom while this lockdown's going on. You could just interview me. Maybe we'll start your show. Like, you can just interview people. But
Okay, so Nova,
do
you think it's important that people in the UK hip hop scene understand what came before?
Do I think it's important to let people know what came before?
shit.
Yes and no. It's not. I don't think it's a necessity. You know? Just don't be disrespectful to no one. I don't think. But I don't think everyone has to know these people came. Like, people get up on this kind of thing, like, oh, my name's not mentioned, and I'm like, you know what you did, innit? Like, be proud of your like contribution.
I think it's more when some people seem like they're intentionally being ignorant or like refusing to do it. Like Lil Uzi Vert or whatever saying, I won't rap over a DJ Premier beat because it's old. That just stuck me out.
When we're talking about rappers who've been around for a while, so today Mike GLC and Jay Spades have been going off. I've been trying to get into this for a hot minute.
Wait,
That took you 20 minutes. I remember when you first said it, you know, 20 minutes to bring.
We need Abi back as well, because I want Abi to be able to contribute to this and stuff as well. But so you can stay with us as well, Jack. But I wanted to, like, there's a couple UK rap beefs going on, right?
Yeah.
You're back, yeah?
I'm here. I'll still speak, but I'm just pausing my video for a sec. But I'm still here, guys. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna try and show these clips as well. I'm gonna actually try and share screen and share the screen of this thing that's going on today. Yeah.
Yeah, do that, because I ain't seen it.
I can't share the skinny man bit, and I was gonna try and get the screenshots, but that's long. But so we've got two beefs going on, yeah. Jay Spades and Matt GLC, and then a few days ago, did you see this, Jack? The Skinny Man and Rodney P?
I commented on it. Wait, do you want me to find the screenshots so I can send them to you?
Have you got the screenshots?
I can find them. Wait, did he take down the post?
Go on, Jack.
There is a message about it, but I can't share that because that's like private. I'll try and find the conversation thread.
Skinny Man and Rodney P are beefing. They're beefing online. Skinny called out Rodney and was saying that he was a con artist, and it's a good time for him to do a charity event or something because of the COVID thing or something. And then it turned out Rodney had sent for Skinny saying that Skinny was lying about not getting paid by Low Life and that he's got receipts or whatever. And they're going at each other. I was on the phone to Skinny for about an hour talking about it last week or whatever, and it's all a bit mad. And to me,
that was at Greenfell, wasn't it?
What?
That was at Greenfell, wasn't it?
Greenfell, there was an event. He did an event for Grenfell and Skinny was.
I know. I was at that. Remember?
Was I there?
I was there.
Yeah, I saw you there. I remember actually. I did. Yeah.
That was such a good lineup, actually.
Yeah, that was sick. But
So who do you think is like? Are you looking forward to these battles if they make songs for each other? Like if Skinny makes a song
I'd just like to quickly say I'm not involved in this conversation.
I want to know what. Actually, let's let Jack Nichols take over again for a little second. So who's gonna win that battle, Skinny Man and Rodney P, as the center of UK hip hop fans?
But I mean, from what I've read, Rodney saying he doesn't even want to diss it. He just wants to stay out of it. But Skinny seemed interested in making the diss.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only met Rodney very briefly. I have no personal relation with him. Whereas Skinny Man is someone who I know well and has been very supportive of me. So I feel like I kind of should have to say Skinny because like loyalty. Obviously, you know what it's like to be in the middle of a situation.
Bro, I've known both of them for over 20 years.
They're both good people to me. They both show love to me, so I ain't got no. Yeah, I just want to hear the rapping in it. I'm like a rap too.
I mean, I think we need like. Have you seen either of them battle? That's what we kind of need to.
Yeah, I've seen Skinny Man battle.
I've seen Skinny battle.
Have you seen Rodney battle?
No, like, on a real thing, like obviously I'm biased here. Skinny Man's my brother, and that I met Rodney P over 20 years ago, like in Skinny Man's house. That's the first time I ever met him. Rodney can't talk to Skinny rapping on that kind of level to me. Rodney's amazing as a rapper, as an artist.
I think this whole situation is just kind of completely insane.
Oh, it is, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, basically,
I can kind of see what song Skinny would make, but I can't really imagine what type of battle song.
I'm not sure, so you never know, innit? But
friends, man, still.
I think you should host a live battle between both of them on Insta.
They're not gonna do it. They're not on it. They're not gonna do that.
I'm not doing
on it. So.
Wait, did you guys watch the premiere RZA beat battle?
That should just be Abby and Jack that host that battle still. That should just be Abby and Jack.
Wait, did you watch the Big Daddy Kane live concert? He did on Instagram.
I seen Gary one yesterday.
Yeah, it was really good.
So listen, yeah, let's go to this other thing, yeah, because this is interesting. This is Jay Spades and Mike JLC thing today. This is what I'm gonna try and share the screen. So how this started, right? Hypo and Jay Spades from Mashtown were doing an Insta live talking about, they're just busting joke, innit? They're like, who can fight out of rappers? And they're like saying, throw some names out there and I'll say whether I think I can punch them up. You know what I'm saying? So they're busting joke about, and most of it is just whatever. They're going like, no disrespect. And they're talking about goons, you know what I'm saying? Like certain man, they're like, nah, he will just throw for the team. Like, he's not gonna throw hands, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they've said Matt Yossi's name's come up. But let me just see it. Let me see if I can actually share this screen.
Is he the guy that was a rapist, or was that someone else?
Who?
Oh, you can't.
Oh, no, that was Gecko. Gecko, that was the guy who did that horrible thing.
Who? No, not Gecko, not Gecko. You're talking about DVS.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Hey, you just threw like bare man under the bus.
I know, because Gecko's on the free DVS thing, so you're getting that mixed up. But you're talking about, are you asking if Mac JLC is that? Because actually, in the mix of this, Jay Spade started throwing up comments about I
heard that story.
About at some girl. Some girl was bigging up. Actually, I got to tell my story because this is how it started to me, and it's the same woman, yeah. So this woman inboxed me earlier on today, I didn't even see this beef yet. I just see this woman that I follow on Insta post some funny video of Hypo, yeah, and she's mocking him or whatever. And I put a laugh react to it because the video, it was just funny, innit? Like, it was just funny what she posted. I didn't know why she posted it, and she's kind of started responding like, yeah, this guy's a waste man, this and that. So like, I'm now talking to her, and I'm like, nah, the man like, the man are kind of serious still, because she was coming on the energy, like, and she mentioned Mike GLC straight away. She's like, oh yeah, these men think they're about it, but they're not real killers. They're not. And then she went, they think they're Mike GLC and C Biz. So I was just like, yo, Mike GLC ain't a killer. Like that's what I've said to her. And
Is he rapping about being a killer?
What?
Is he rapping about being a killer?
Nah, he don't rap about being a killer. Like,
No.
So it's like I was just like, no, Mike GLC ain't no killer. And she just got angry, like, no, you don't know Mike. And I was like, well, actually, I do know Mike, but whatever.
Yeah, honestly, from my experience, people who actually live the gangster lifestyle, and I'm saying this as an observer of it, who's never been involved in it, people who actually are about their business tend not to go shoving it in people's faces.
What would you say about the whole UK drill scene right now? Because a lot of them are killers, man.
I think, I don't know, it's a bit alarming that we're putting people who are, I don't want to say bad people, but people who are doing very immoral things on a pedestal. Yeah. I don't think it should be shut down or that it's invalid as art.
We can have that debate on the other side, but I'm just saying, like, they are really doing that kind of stuff and they're rapping about it. So, and, you know, Jay Spades and Hyper, all of that, come from a very certified set, like, whose name rings out. And I'm saying, and like, no disrespect to no one, but I never heard Mike Joe see his name ring out like that. So when I'm talking to this girl, I'm kind of like, yeah. Then I realized she's like, oh, he's my brethren. Da, da, da. I spoke to him yesterday, and I was like, okay, it's your friend. I'm no disrespect then. Like, I'm not really trying to, you know. And she just got so mad, she blocked me. I'm like, bro, this girl is crazy. And then I see her in the comments. Yeah, I see her in the comments on Jay Spade's thing, and then Jay Spades responded to her and was like, yeah, go do your fan thing at him. Don't make me start telling you about all the times he beat up women. So I was like, okay, so that just connected.
Yeah, but are you still, you're pro council culture, aren't you?
What the fuck's that got to do with anything, bro?
No, answer his question. I'm joking.
Yeah. What do you mean by that, though? What's council culture?
Not supporting an artist either financially or by word of mouth or whatever because of what they have done.
You know what? I'm not necessarily pro cancel culture fully, but there are times when it's probably necessary. You know what I'm saying, but we have to speak up on things. You know
so let's say I know Rick Ross.
But I said he was
going to date rape someone.
Yeah, I pretty much cancelled Rick Ross for that. That's one of the main ones where I decided, no, that's a cancel thing. Certain man, it's DVS you mentioned before, that's a cancel thing, 100%. But I also do think, like, I am also a person that thinks people are not defined by one thing, and people can learn and change and da da da.
Yes. I guess if you acknowledge it, that's like the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm sure lots of people that we both know on the UK scene have done things that are very immoral, but if they are not doing it now, and they have
looking at a bunch of them anyway.
Yeah, like, I've done some shitty. I've never been a gangster, but I've done very immoral things. Most people have. That's kind of what the objection is.
No, let's watch the clip of Hypo when people are putting comments in the thing. Yeah, someone says Matt Josie. Let's see if this works. Can you not see that?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think Mike GLC is a rabbit, man. I don't think he's got the balls to step.
That nigga angry every day,
Rabbit?
Oh, Justo's in there. These.
Did that play clearly?
Yeah, that played still. Yeah, they boyed it still. They boyed it.
A man said, Mike just said, he goes, I think he's a rabbit. And then that Hypo said, I think he's a rabbit. And
Spades
was like, yeah, he's angry every day.
Because these times, I see Mike's video and Mike is like ranting, vexed still. Like Mike's vexed, like, these men think they can talk about me. I've been punching up man in North London, asking North London who really knocks out people. And I was like, what's this about? Why is he so angry?
That's what I'm trying to get back to that now. You know, now that I've shared the screen, this is where we're going to do our technical difficulties and all of that. Now that I've shared the screen, I can't like unshare the screen or get back to the normal screen I was on.
Can just go back to how you shared it and unshare it.
What if I share screen?
No, I can't because it's just like.
Oh, you can.
The whole view has just changed.
Remember when I shared my whole phone the other day?
Click on the top of the gallery to make it big. You see on this side, there's like a thing to make it to go back to the gallery.
Honestly, I think artists should just keep doing live stream concerts anyway. Like I'm working on some new material like now, not this second, but recently anyway. And I want to do a live stream concert, but then I kind of want to do it anyway because I have this like online fan base of people in America and in India and in other random places who won't ever get to see me rock live normally. Like I think just these internet shows are just a really good idea and they should keep happening long after.
Boxing, that's what these men are trying to set up.
There should be a fight card. You know what? I really think UK hip hop should have had a fight card since inception, and it would have solved bare problems. Because like these times here, the amount of these little petty problems that have gone on for years that could have been solved with a fight and then always lead to madness or don't lead to nothing.
Honestly, the thing is actually mad. Is the thing still on the screen? I'm gonna close that. Boom.
There you go.
There you go. All right, cool. I just have to close the thing. Look how whatless man is at this thing, and I'm supposed to be like, you know what I mean? Know about computers and stuff. All right. So after that, yeah, Mike GLC responded. The mad thing is, yeah, I'll get to this later, but I had to go like log in on an incognito thing on the Flip Life Media Instagram because Mike GLC blocked me on Instagram ages ago for me to pull this up. All right, can you lot see that one now, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe just send me a video of people talking about fighting and all that. I beg you, drop me out. I don't really...
Is he on steroids?
Like, what do you want me to do? Sit down there and explain to you that I came from an abusive home and I've been in care since I was 6 and I've got about 5 people's teeth in my hands and I've had over about 300 fights in my life. And if you can come to the North, they can tell you who really knocks people out and all that. Like, your favorite rappers can tell you that. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Because I don't sit on the internet and talk shit. You think you know something about me? I beg you, drop me out. And why you like that? Grow up, man. Grow up. But you can go to jail, you can go anywhere and ask about me, bro. When it comes to this physical thing, you can ask about me. I'm retired, nigga. But believe me, I've had more fights than all your favorite rappers put together. I'll be more physical than all your mates put together, bro. And these are facts. And these are facts.
I don't know why.
Bro, these are reality facts. But you can do your research if you do your research properly. But anyway, leave me the fuck alone. You know, maybe just send me a video.
All right, so that's
Now I see how they come at him. I realize why he was so vexed because I didn't see what they did. Yeah, I know, because I see his, not what he said, but him being vexed, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Like, I mean, like, these times, I thought he was just like, they had just been talking about a boxing match and then they were like nominating him to go up.
No, and on the boxing match thing, they're saying that Jay Spades and Vic Santoro, I think, have lined up their thing that they're going to do a boxing match.
Yeah. Didn't they have like celebrity rapper boxing matches at one point in the 90s?
What's that?
Wasn't that a thing that happened?
In America, not here.
Yeah.
Wait though, let me play. So this is Jay Spades now, yeah?
Yeah.
Can we see that, yeah?
Yeah.
Upset.
Them man are haters, the reason why they upset. They say the status, why they upset. Hating on a real nigga that won't do you justice. Rolling with the hammer, MC Hammer couldn't touch this. Ask Mike GLC why he's upset. You hating on the young G's coming up next. You always been a hater, but that's another subject. You come around my ends, keep your windows down on your tins. Round here, we don't trust foreign objects. And we don't busy by your muscle when you're topless. You never got the works done, them boy they looking jobless. Now them man they mad. Upset.
That's what Spades dropped today.
Okay, so it's gonna be a battle.
Nah, because Mike already, you know what, Mike, I should play a clip of that as well, to be honest. So Mike then responded to that with another video. I don't know if I should, if you want, I'll play the rest of them, but he responded with a song. Obviously, I didn't play the whole song of Jay Spades just there, but Mike put a song up, and I should play a bit of it still.
But didn't he say he wrote that years ago?
Yeah, he just put up a song up and said, I wrote this months ago. And it's a song about telling the youths to, that, you know, put the knives down and all of that. And he was like, this is my response. Yeah, which I kind of I got it. Like, yeah, you should clash, really. You should do the clash thing. But I got his angle. Like, I like the song. I liked what he was saying in it. And the mad thing is, Mike blocked me because he was having a rant ages ago. I can't remember the exact details, but he was having a rant ages ago about rappers rapping about gang life, and he was doing the blame rap for violence thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And I pulled him up about it. And also he was like blaming rappers for influencing the youth and going, you lot are doing this, you lot are doing that. And I kind of pulled him up, like, because I always find this with Mike, that I thought, like, he always says, yeah, don't be a gangster, but there's an undertone in there where he's like really kind of showing how much of a gangster he was.
Don't be a gangster, leave it to me.
Leave it to me, or I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. And he really gasses it to the point, it's a bit mad when you go, yeah, but you don't do it. And this song, what he's talking today is like the opposite. I really rated it. It's like the opposite message. He's saying like, I can't tell them not to do it because what have they got left? And that makes more sense to me. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't, that message like connected with me more.
Okay, but I guess people in hip hop are like kind of can be divided on this issue, but you consider yourself to be, I guess, pro gangster rap in a way, don't you?
Pro gangster rap.
Pro.
I don't believe gangster rap exists, bro.
Okay, why so? Let's turn my lights on.
No one has given a rap opinion on these. Like, no one wants to hear the songs though, because I just like rap. I like rap battles, man.
I hear the Mike thing. Well, Mike made another response.
I don't really want nothing real to happen off it. That's why I'm thinking maybe the Mike and Jay Spades thing shouldn't happen, because them man might feel the need to prove themselves. But they're old men. They need to just relax and just, you know, make music. If they're gonna clash, it should just be a song thing. But I know I was thinking if Skinny and Rodney clash though, that also might be the same problem.
Yeah. There's a local engineer who refused to record someone's beef track because there was previously been a rap beef like 10 years before that ended in someone actually getting killed, and so he would not record this track.
Okay.
And that's when like.
What I said.
What?
I mean, what's that got to do with what I'm saying? What?
About like rap beef potentially becoming dangerous, because it is.
It makes sense to me, man.
Okay. So do you think Tupac or Biggie's deaths were a conspiracy or arranged?
Let's not get into that, man.
That's too far back.
What do we feel about this kind of thing? Like, who's right?
Oh, in this one?
Yeah. I think they're both right for different reasons, right?
I think, bruv, it's like, right, I kind of showing my age here, but I can kind of equate it to the situation with 50 when he put out How to Rob a Rapper and all that, yeah? It's all good, like, having jokes about stuff and all that, which I think they were just having a bit of bants, do you know what I mean? But when you got people out there who really stand by what they're saying and their reputation, and like you said, where they come from, what they're known for, whatever, it's opening up a can of worms, isn't it? I think even if it was to be like a celebrity boxing match, I don't think it would. I think it might boil over into something else anyway.
50 Cent is brutal in his diss tracks. Like when he was feuding with Rick Ross, he took Rick Ross's baby mama out on a date and hung out with his kids and stuff. It was brutal.
He's a savage.
Yeah, that's
I'm not even a big fan of his music, but this dude's hustle is crazy. But I also think that in terms of actual songs, 50 lost some of those beats.
I've got to say as well,
Jadakiss's disses were better than towards 50, were better than 50's disses towards Jayza, and so was Jizza's diss, but then Jizza was obviously on another level anyway, so that's not even comparable.
Without going back in the day, right, okay, I know I used that as an example. In this scenario here, I think that in a weird sense, though, it's actually good for the scene at the same time, because people love hype, bro, like, and they knew that. They knew if they started having this conversation about known names, about who can punch up who, that's going to be, as soon as the internet hears that, that's like, wow, it's trending. Do you know what I mean? And my boy, boy Cyrilla was telling me about the situation a couple of days ago. I didn't even know anything about it. And yeah, I think it'd be good if it could stay lyrical, but it's a bit of a weird one as well because of the age gap and where they're coming from.
Yeah, that's very true. Also, London is so tiny. There's no one you're not going to see. Sometimes I think we think we're in America, and it's just like, It's a tiny little city. You're gonna see, man.
Same time, bro, there's a lot of people you don't see people. Do you know what I'm saying? Right now, everyone's in their yard. Like no one's going to know. There's no event, so no one's seeing each other right now.
What, rappers?
There was that situation a few weeks back, wasn't there, with Sneakbow and my man Dot Rotten and all
Yeah,
that.
Dot Rotten,
Yeah. That was like 5
Saying,
years.
but it's all good if it's a lyrical thing and like both people understand that. But I don't think it happens like that much these days. It's always going to boil over into something else, isn't it?
Okay, Smith.
That's the
I'm
problem.
not gonna ask anything else about this, but does you and Chester's beef ever potentially become something?
Sorry,
physical?
I'm losing signal.
Sorry. We can't hear you, Jack. Sorry, mate.
Can you
Nah.
actually not hear me?
No, I don't think it would have. No, I think like because it could have, yeah. But I think there was enough people around the situation at the time to try and ensure that didn't happen because they had interests in both sides, if that makes sense. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even.
What do you lot think? What do you lot think about the rap game during Corona? Do you think like people are they still gonna drop albums and like how they gonna promote and tour and like is the game gonna suffer because of it?
Gets is doing a tour of his house.
That's what I'm saying, bruv. Surely this is the best time to be doing that.
Online.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing everything online. DJs
You've got your audience there, innit?
performing online. Everyone's doing everything online.
Yeah.
Certain people are getting paid for doing certain things.
Yeah, promotion is like the best way to do things. And promotion is sadly the most important thing on getting a record to sell, which is kind of bad in a way, but yeah.
It's a way to keep yourself relevant. If you're online and you're doing things online, whether it's on Insta, whether it's on Zoom, whatever, like or like house party, it doesn't matter. Like as long as you're keeping yourself relevant, it's fine. Like you need to just adapt to the situation.
Like it's obviously there's some people now who
Everyone's on lockdown, so everything you do needs to be lockdown mode. So it's a different version of what you normally do, just like we're doing now in terms of our show.
I mean, even before this, there's been people for years who've like been, I guess, internet rappers. I know that word's a bit derogatory, but there are people who've just made their whole rap careers on YouTube and stuff, never doing a show anyway.
But then there's people that are YouTube famous and they become famous.
Making money.
Not from any.
We've got a couple comments here.
No
Viv
record.
Rose, yo, B, is that Viv?
Nothing. Yeah, they just do it.
I can't see the comments.
You gotta look at the actual live video on YouTube, man.
Oh, you got this. I one
Say
second.
Nova, Big Ben, large up yourself, Abi K, flip mode, Nova, colorful string vest, and that.
So I still remember that like Mickey Mouse jacket you had. That was fresh.
Or the Mickey Mouse jacket, my thing, the iceberg thing. I gave that to my daughter, man.
Aww.
Because I remember when we first met, I had that sick cross collar jacket. And I actually got stolen, which is peak.
Anyway, let me finish this comment, bro. Then she said, Ben, your screen's on 2G, fam. Wagwan.
No, Ben's on
5G ain't no damn Rona. All right, come.
serious lockdown, sir. That's where Ben.
Skinny Man would win hands down. Skinny Rodney Beef is mad. Both legends. Someone's asking. Someone said, "Is that Sendog like from Cypress Hill?"
Who?
What?
That's what one of the comments is. One of the comments says, "Is that Sendog?"
Are you talking about, Jack?
Who looks like Sendog? I don't even know what Sendog looks like.
No,
If actually, you know what's a good diss track? Ice Cube's Cypress Hill diss.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he actually was kind of in the wrong because he stole their chorus, it was still a good trick. What do you say? Oh, you thinking that I stole your hooks? It must be the white boy thinking all N-words. Crooks.
Well done, Jack. Very well done. You know what? I think we got to wrap up at some point soon because.
Now, Nova.
What?
Sandog, you can't rap from the Sandog. You can't rap from the gut and be real sounding like you got 90 nuts.
I'm gonna mute Jack still. I'm gonna mute him. I'm muting you. Just
You're a cop.
I love you.
Can I just say before we go, please?
Yeah.
Ben, where's Ben? See, I'm
Man.
Ben. Happy 420, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Happy 420, man.
I thought I had to hide this shit, bro. I've been doing it the whole time. Ain't you seen me going like that off camera?
No, I've been smoking the whole thing in camera.
No,
Yeah.
I thought of it when I saw it. I thought, wow, should have done that show today.
Yeah, but I did it before. And actually, you know what else it is today? It's the anniversary of Illmatic being released, and it's the anniversary of Action Comics number.
I got to meet him again, man.
Mate, I need to make a very serious point for 1 minute, bro. One thing we ain't touched on, and this ain't no joke thing, bro, is about Metropolis, bro.
Yeah, we spoke about it yesterday as well, man.
Sorry, I didn't catch the show yesterday. I say, like, from a personal point of view, like, I didn't know the guy personally, met him a couple of times, man, but mad condolences to everyone who loved him. Do you know what I mean? Friends, man, it's a big loss, big loss.
Yeah, man.
Foreign Beggars family, keep your heads up, bruv. Love from everyone.
Yeah, Black the Ripper too.
Everyone in Foreign Beggars, keep your heads up, man. No, for real, because that's hard.
Yeah, rest in peace, Black the Ripper too.
Yeah, 100%.
Bruv, 2020 can fuck off, man. 2020
is cancelled, yeah? Like next year.
That's the cancel culture, man's down.
I'm just kind of glad no one I know's died from Corona.
That's all I got to say. This was a rehearsal.
Cool. So I reckon the next show we're gonna go conspiracy crazy. We probably won't. We'll leave it a few days. And we'll. I don't know. We should.
Maybe Thursday. I think we should do one.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thursday can run.
Hey, was it Verbal Kin?
Verbal Ken. Everyone used to get that wrong for some reason. People always used to think I was saying Verbal Ken. It was Verbal Ken.
Verbal Ken. Why?
You.
Okay. It was in the comments, innit? Someone snitched.
No, I didn't say it. I read it and I didn't say it. I was surprised and I was like,
that's better than biological with a K. I'm sorry, in my opinion. No offense, Jack. That's I was hybrid. Listen, we all had bad names. Let's leave it. Big Ben ain't even a good name, but he has a good story.
Give away my old name as well. Remember that. Answers on a postcard, just disinfect it. Yeah?
Wait, Wordsmiff, why don't you just rap under your real name?
Why am I going to do that, bro? Don't blow me up on that either. Come on, man.
I know your name, but I'm not going to say it.
Well, just
all his friends, bro. What's going on?
You've probably got a copy of your birth certificate, bro. Like, he's got everything. He knows everything, man.
Yeah, big up to Jack as well, bro. Hip hop encyclopedia, man.
Words, big up, man, for a great interview. That was great.
Big up yourself, Words. Thank you very much.
Abby, nice to meet you, Abby, for the first time virtually and all that. Seeing you on the show and that, doing a sterling job looking after the riffraff.
Yes, Flip Life family.
Ben, mad love.
Bless family.
It takes a long time for us to talk, bro.
I'm sending you the trilogy. I'm sending you the links to that trilogy right now. You're gonna get gas.
Get that done.
Yeah.
Nova, my brother, love you, man. Big up Flip Life team. It's been a pleasure. I'm gonna go and eat some food. It's been sitting on the table for about 2 hours. So yeah.
Family.
Up again,
big love to everyone, yeah.